Rock a night sky like sandstorms and six small. Quick draw dogs mob y'all like thick ball. Be the last to blast, but draw first blood speaking and hit your hubs with these slugs. Leave your mug leaking. The SOJ be the mob thickest. That mob blocks and stop the set shop. Rock so hot, niggas love to hate. We speak the word of God, but it's speak the blood of hate. They call cops, pop locks and stop the cop clocks non-stop. We be breaking it down like chop shops. The black Jew from the tribe of Gad on the war path to smash, blast, smash, and dash. Yeah, straight off the back to the upper deck. I represent Israel for the militant. The bang flows and foes that hang low, swing low, sweet chariot stop and let's roll. Flow in the wind like we sail boat. Tote on the hand, never been smoking. See all these niggas wanna front on me, but all I'm trying to do is get by like fake IDs. Who what it's worth? I put it down for the turf. Delete your black and blue just like your name was Stan Smurf. Bursting curses, lyrical purses that disperse sleeps of hearses, doctors and nurses, eulogies, reads and work shit. Drop to your knees as we increase your degrees and threes. We captivated the world, let's get disease. Make up power moves, focus, go to spiritual doses. Flawless and atrocious, seeing me, I know it's like swarm. Love is hopeless, but y'all that come against us. If you ain't with us, you getting rolled and left the fences. Against the fences, we stick and move, ball, but we the same for my team. Listen and claim like kings and queens.
Let's lock and load and penetrate their threshold. The rhyme dynamo, a black Indian, but don't call me Tonto. Down to put the wicked in a 6-foot hole. I'm out here where times is hard like steel toes. Woo! For real though, I'm set for the challenge, riding valiant on the white stallion. I'm trying to join Christ's battalion and knock the whole earth off balance. Now how you sound and chase material dreams. The world ain't what it seems, my lines is like nicotine. And I see you're addicted. I'm amongst the afflicted and hurt, knee deep in dirt. See me on the streets with an Israelite t-shirt, prophetic expert. The lost sheep better stay alert. I warned you, with strength and honor. SOJ, the lyrical unibombers. The walking dead be trying to taunt us, but they can't do that. Mouth like a 12-gauge gap. Hear me dump and dip to the flat. Volume 2, we back on the biblical attack, but the truth more valuable than Shaq. Now stay intact with the facts, never miss a gap or crack. And I'm certain we right and exact. Most of my brothers wear braids and naturals like sap. Nuclear blast to the end. I'd rather deal with family than friends. And I can still ride, my faith don't bend. I'm in the wind, back to the lion's den until we meet again. Shalom.
Drop to your knees as we increase your degrees and threes. We captivated the world, let's get disease. Make that power moves, focus, go to spiritual doses. Flawless and atrocious, seeing me, I know it's like swarm. Love is hopeless, but y'all that come against us. If you ain't with us, you getting rolled and left the fences. Against the fences, we stick and move, ball, but we the same for my team. Listen and claim like kings and queens. Yeah, we coming back, walk two. The monolithic, apocalyptic for the scientific. Check how the iron fist gorilla grip it and rip it, strip it to the bare compound for all of y'all that missed it. The Holy Bible had it all scripted. The most prolific, bring it back one time for all the analytic. Centrific force drifted, the continental stripped, tectonic place shifted, prolific and descripted.
There's no quitting the wicked, we still rip it. Got people predicted, whether you blood or crippled, it's all wicked. Righteous point guard and watch me assist it. Far from sadistic, you never see me lip sync, and I've been pushed to the brink. It's time to use our minds to think and make the U.S. battleship sink. Power moves can go down in the eye blink. Death to all rap fakes and Uncle Tom. Sound the alarm when we drop the bomb. Now stay calm and it's on. It's on. Come on now.
Drop to your knees as we increase your degrees and threes. We captivated the world, let's get disease. Make that power moves, focus, go to spiritual doses. Flawless and atrocious, seeing me, I know it's like swarm. Love is hopeless, but y'all that come against us. If you ain't with us, you getting rolled and left the fences. Against the fences, we stick and move, ball, but we the same for my team. Listen and claim like kings and queens. Drop to your knees as we increase your degrees and threes. We captivated the world, let's get disease. Make that power moves, focus, go to spiritual doses. Flawless and atrocious, seeing me, I know it's like swarm. Love is hopeless, but y'all that come against us. If you ain't with us, you getting rolled and left the fences. Against the fences, we stick and move, ball, but we the same for my team. Listen and claim like kings and queens. Drop to your knees as we increase your degrees and threes. We captivated the
If you've been around, you know what I'm putting down. If you've not, don't get too close because you might get shot. Shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom. Peace to the family, man. What's happening, y'all? All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. While you help Shah, it's your brother IQAhmath. IQAhmath, first name, IQ is all the same. This is what it is. Dstm. Don't shoot the messenger. Another episode. All praises. Prayerfully, everybody's doing well. As you can see, Satan is on a rampage, man. The dude does not want me. That spirit man is not trying to hear me today. Ain't trying to hear what's coming out today, obviously. I had some tech issues. My camera wouldn't come on. Even though I could see it in the background, it wasn't coming on for y'all to see. No sound coming out the mic, the whole nine. But guess what? The show must go on. Man. We continually push for the word of the Lord. Continually push for the hopeful elect. Continually push for the healing and the resurrecting of our nation. Continually push for the defense of the gospel. Continually push for our Savior, Mashiach Yahushua. All right, this is what it is. Let me get this other scripture right here in 2 Corinthians 13. And I want to read verse 8, just for the opposition out there, man, who's steadily rooting against this truth. Guess what? 2 Corinthians 13:8, for we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. And that's a fact. Can't stop this truth, man. It always is gonna. I got this old KJV on here. I read it. I can read both, but sometimes it's a little easier for everybody to relate and seeing it in that fashion. 13:8, one more time. For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. All right. And that's what we see here. According to what the word says, there's no stopping what's going on, man. So even though, Satan try to move and mess around with live getting set up, we still continually push, right? So, you see the title. Don't blink. Don't blink. Stay woke. You might miss something, right? A lot going on as usual. Let's read Job 19. Am I sharing? I don't think I am. Slacky, y'all. See what I mean? See what I mean? I thought I was sharing. Apparently I'm not. I was sharing my whole screen. Let me double back. Get that 2 Corinthians 13 for y'all again. In verse 8. For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. So, that's just a staple that we live by. We have to maintain this faith. We have to continually push this truth because there's no stopping it at the end of the day. Whether it's through, spiritual afflictions, physical afflictions, whether it's through technical issues, whatever the case may be, the Lord says you got to keep going. You got to keep pushing because guess what? There's going to be nothing that can stand against this truth when it's all said and done. Jumping over to Job, back to Job 19. We're going to read verse 7. And I was reading this and I was like, man, that's kind of like the sentiment of the day for many. Job 19:7 says, behold, I cry out of wrong, but I am not heard. I cry aloud, but there is no judgment. See, isn't that what it seems like sometimes? You send up your prayers, you're doing your most to try to follow along with the commandments, do everything that you can. You're crying out and you're seeing the injustices. You're seeing what's happening with our people. We're getting sick of the afflictions and the cursings. We're crying out. We're acknowledging. We're pointing out wrong. We're seeing what's happening. And we're trying to say, shed some light on the darkness over here. And guess what? Sounds as if we ain't being heard. Isn't that what always happens with our people, especially when you're trying to wake our people up and they're like, man, I prayed to God for him to stop my mother's cancer and my prayers wasn't heard. I prayed for my baby not to get shot in these streets and they still got shot. Or I prayed for this job, I never got it. I prayed for more money, I never got it. I wanted this new car, I never got it. All of the above. See, first of all, number one, for those who have that mind frame, you ain't supposed to be praying out of want, right? Because number one, here's a principle of prayer. Proverbs 28:9, it says, he that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayers shall be an abomination. If the prayers are not rooted in the commandments of the Most High, if you're not abiding by the obedience of the Lord, how do you expect him to respect and honor what you requested or what you need? If you turn away your ear from even hearing the law, as many of our people do, your prayers are going to go unanswered. That's a fact. getting back to Job, Job had the same, sentiment. He was like, man, I'm crying out. I'm seeing wrong. Uh, is this it? Here we go. Behold, I cry out of wrong, but I am not heard. So it seems as though we're not being heard. But guess what? As we see everything transforming and unfolding throughout the earth right now, the Most High is now opening up his ears for judgment. The Most High is actually opening up his ears and eyes for us to see and know the world that we're living in ain't what we thought it was. The prophecies and the judgments that the Bible pronounced is actually coming to pass. The time is being cut short. We're seeing things happening in rapid succession right now, right? So these are all things that we got to pay attention to. Because he says now, but there's no judgment. But we're seeing plenty of judgment going on in the earth, man. Hey, we'll cover it in a little while, but over 800 people died in the earthquake over in Afghanistan earlier in the week. We're seeing various aspects of warfare being broken out. Uprisings over there in India. I mean, there's all kind of things jumping off right now. And if we're not paying attention, if we're worried about what's the hottest? Okay, the NFL season just started. People are all too busy locked into that, looking at their bettings and their fantasy football numbers and everything else. Maybe that's got your attention. Maybe I don't know what's going on in the entertainment world. I know I got on Snoop Dogg earlier this week, but shortly after that, there was some little press release from one of his quote unquote representatives that said that wasn't true, that wasn't Snoop's tweet. Well, guess what? Until I hear him come publicly and say it, I don't want to hear that I was hacked or somebody on my team wrote that. You need to come out and speak on it on your behalf. All right. If y'all didn't see, you don't know what I'm talking about, double back over there into an earlier episode this week that I did regarding Snoop Dogg and his groveling apology to the LGBTQ plus community. But it seems as though there's no judgment, right? We're seeing a lot of wrong, a lot of evil being transpired in the earth, and it's looking like they just getting away with it. But no, the Lord is definitely bringing the chickens to come home and roost. Let's jump over to Isaiah 62. And this goes back into 2 Corinthians 13, right? And just overall in the spirit. There's a reason why the Spirit told me, go to the scripture today because of the afflictions and things that go on, especially like I said earlier, just trying to get this live going. It was all kind of folly going on. But look at this. Isaiah 62:7 says, I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day or night. Yet, ye that make mention of Yahweh, keep not silence. See? It said day or night, no peace. We're constantly at war. We're constantly pushing the word, constantly going at it with the devil, constantly going at it with all manners of evil. You're fighting in your thoughts. You're fighting here verbally, online, on the streets, with your family, your job. You're trying to, keep your household together, your sanctity of peace. But the Lord said the watchmen have to continually push this word day or night and not keep silence. There's no breaks. Does Satan take breaks? He said he walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. While we're sleeping, I mean, look, Micah 2 tells us that our enemies rest upon their beds, thinking about how they're going to colonize, take over, destroy a man and his household and his heritage and everything else. They're up at night. Look what it says, verse 7, and give him no rest till he establish, until he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. So our mission is not complete until Yerushalayim, our people, the children of Israel, blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics, and Yahushua are made a praise in the earth again. And we ain't talking about Caesar Borgia or Cesare Borjas or what, however you want to pronounce it. We ain't talking about that. We're not talking about the fake saints that the damn Catholic Church keep making up. I mean, I just seen, I didn't include this in there, but this is how foolish it is, man. The new Pope just got through creating a saint out of like some 15-year-old tech expert or something like that, talking about he's performing miracles, and now he's a new saint. They've got saints for everything under the sun, from prostitutes to drug dealers. This is how you know Catholicism is a straight joke. As a matter of fact, let me show y'all that real quick. Let me show y'all that real quick. Look at this. Exclusive. Millennial Saint Carlos Acutis, family member. Look at teen known as God's influencer to become the first millennial saint. I mean, this is the foolishness that goes on. They're just anointing and creating saints out of nowhere when we know that the saints, according to the Bible, is the children of Israel. That's Psalms 148:14, Psalms 50 and 5. These damn maniacs is running around talking about God's influencers now can become saints. Get the hell out of here. I mean, this is the type of foolishness. That's why we was reading Job earlier saying, man, I'm crying out about wrong, and it seems like we ain't being heard. You know, this is what we got to deal with, man. This is the battle. This is why we can't give him any rest. This is why we got to keep going, because they won't stop. They will continually mash on and continue on until Satan is appraised in the earth, until homosexuality is appraised in the earth, until idolatry is appraised in the earth, till fornication is appraised in the earth. See, this is all the things that they want. We got to battle out against those things, right? So Acts 20. Let's jump over to verse 31. Now look what Paul said. Actually, let's rise up a little bit, because this is cold and this is crucial. Acts 20 and 28. It says, "Take heed therefore unto yourselves and to all the flock over the which the Holy Spirit have made you overseers, to feed the church of the Most High, which he have purchased with his own blood." So this was instructions, right? That were being led for the future church leaders in various spots: Ephesus, Corinth, Thessalonica, so forth and so on, right? So this was ordinances that was being laid out. So he said, you got to take heed unto yourself and to all the flock. You know, Proverbs, 27, 20, I believe in Proverbs 27. It tells you that you got to, paraphrasing, you got to watch over and be, hold on. Let me get that. I don't want to butcher it. Proverbs 27. Oops. Not 127. I don't want to butcher it. 27:23. Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herd. So this was the instructions Paul was giving to the future leaders of the church, right? There you see they are in Ephesus, Asia Minor, whatnot, right? Getting back over to Acts chapter 20. We're going to drop down again to verse 28. It says, "Take heed therefore unto yourselves and to all the flock over the which the Holy Spirit have made you overseers, to feed the church of the Most High, which he have purchased with his own blood." So obviously through the death of Yahweh, the church was redeemed through grace and mercy through the shedding of his blood. Acts 5:29 down to 31 tells us that he shed his blood for the remission of the sins of the children of Israel. Only us, right? Verse 29, "For I know this, that after my departing shall grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock." So Paul already knew. He said, look, once I'm gone, the grievous wolves are going to try to slide up in here. While I'm here, they know. Stand back, stand down. The sermon levels is on an all-time high. You're not getting past Paul. Paul's not letting no BS go down within the church. But he said, once I'm gone, them spirits is going to start riding up into individuals, going to have them start trying to take advantage of the flock, want to overthrow churches, want to separate, destroy, and institute discord, want to be lordships over the Lord's heritage, want to make merchandise of the flock. He was giving them the whole rundown. He says, not going to spare the flock, man. They're going to come in and destroy whole churches if you let them. Verse 30, it says, "Also of your own selves shall men arise, speaking perverse things to draw away disciples after them." That happens too. And particularly, I mean, it goes on within the Israelite community. I've been in this truth for a long time. And I've seen this go down. I've seen grievous wolves entering the flock. Been a part of splits within camps and the whole nine. But Paul gave fair warning. He said, "Also of your own selves shall men arise, speaking perverse things to draw away disciples after them." Vainglory. Men want men to worship them, follow them, want to be influenced by them, especially now in today's term, where we just got to seeing about Pope Leo and said God's influencer. We're in an age of influence right now. The terminology is there. Remember, Slow Biden even had his influencer army, the TikTok army, to try to, manipulate and utilize the web to gain followers and to gain influence, amongst the people through politics. Agent Orange, had his son on the lookout on how to utilize the internet and influence, telling him to, go on this podcast, that podcast. This is what the kids is into on this, that, and the third on his terms, right? So and now when you get into the truth, man, you get some men that get into positions of power or influence, notoriety, coming through the internet, through views, likes, subscriptions, praise through comments and emails or whatever the case may be. And guess what? It causes them to turn into wolves in sheep's clothing and draw disciples after them and say, hey, why should I be under this particular structure? Why should I do it this way? I can do it my way. Oh, you know what? Hey, there's money in this. I can sell everything from socks, hats, shoes to scriptures and calendars and everything else to get people to come follow after me. Paul gave fair warning, right? Continuing on. It says, therefore, watch and remember that by the space of 3 years, I cease not to warn everyone night and day with tears. See how passionate Paul was? He said, but I know this is coming down the pipeline. I got to warn and tell the flock and tell the leaders of the churches, be careful, watch. Hold it down. He said, can you imagine 3 years straight? He said, every night and day with tears, he was pleading and exercising teachings of wisdom and understanding, and through the gospel of Hamashiach Yahushua to get the churches up and running and moving in a righteous fashion, right? That's why we just got to read it earlier in Isaiah 62 that, the watchmen have to go without ceasing day and night until the Most High is a praise and Jerusalem is a praise back in the earth again. Right now, we ain't the praise of the earth. We're the praise of the earth when it comes down to all manner of evil and wickedness, man. Having babies, selling them, abortions. We're the praise of the earth when it comes down to all manners of ignorance, from drug dealing, drug selling, drug taking, ignorance and through the music. We know how to do sisters know how to do all kind of damn tricks on poles. It's just like circus animals. I mean, you might as well be the damn seal bouncing the ball on your nose. So people can go and throw tips at the performing, animal. You dig what I'm saying? I mean, we got to go to them extremes, man, to try to get our people to wake up. Maybe they ain't thinking on those terms. Like, damn, am I just like a circus act? Like, what am I doing over here? Exploiting myself, my body, and so forth and so on for a little piece of change. But Paul said, man, hey, night and day for 3 years straight, he was grinding, giving our people fair warning and telling them, hey, this is coming down the pipeline. Watch. Be careful. It ain't as easy as it seems. All that glitters ain't gold. 1 Corinthians 15, let's read 34. See, and this is why we talk about, and I said, hey, don't sleep. Don't blink. Stay woke. What are we supposed to be awakening to? It's not some cliche, that's been politicized now. When we talk about being woke, like that comes from the scriptures. I've said this a million times. That's what happens when a hashtag can take over a real scriptural principle as it pertains to our life. We're living this for real. Blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics, we are sleeping. And the song I just got through playing earlier was called Power Moves. And we did that probably, I think, 2000. Shit, that's 25 years ago. Good Lord. Dating myself, y'all. 25 years ago, right? And I said the Walking Dead be trying to taunt us, but they can't do that mouth like a 12-gauge gat. I'm talking about the children of Israel being the Walking Dead and how they taunt us as we're teaching out on the street. You guys are crazy. You guys are dressed like Power Rangers. You guys don't know what you're talking about. You guys are a hate group. You guys are clowns. You guys are broke. You guys are going to be here all day. Nobody's listening to you. I mean, that was always the echoing when we went out there. Hey, but the scripture said we were fools for Christ's sake, right? So that's what it was. And I don't even know if I said the Walking Dead be trying to tone it if the show even came out. If the show wasn't out by then, hey, I want my royalties. I want my money. But why did I say that? Because I know that the children of Israel are dead asleep, walking around, lifeless. How do we see this in Isaiah 29:9? It says, "Stay yourselves and wonder, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink." Yeah, you see our people spiritually drunk, spiritually lit out there. You wondering, and we're scratching our heads saying, damn, why would that? What the hell's wrong with our people? Our people are sick. Our people is crazy. Our people is not yet. They're spiritually comatose with strong wine, strong drink in the spirit. Verse 10, "For Yahweh have poured upon you the spirit of deep sleep and have closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers and seers have they covered." This is why we always tell our people, wake up. Isaiah 50:81 says, "Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet. Show my people their transgressions and the house of Jacob their sins." That's that alarm clock that we're trying to wake our people up. But you know, our people love to hit snooze. You don't want to wake up. Oh, damn, there go that alarm. Oh, shit. First thing you do, you mad because the alarm went off. You know how it is. Alarm wake up, man. You know, that's boss saying, get up. Boss is saying, don't be late. You better clock in or else. Boss is saying, hey, I don't give a damn if it's freeway traffic, how long your commute is. Wake up. Get in here. I don't care what your night was like before, the night before, how well you slept. Get up. So what do we get accustomed to? Hitting the snooze button, tricking ourselves with the clock, you know, setting the clock back, 10 minutes earlier than it really is. You know, our people be playing all kind of games with the clock. But that's exactly what our people do, man. Our people don't want to wake up. That deep sleep is so sound. You don't want to shake off the cobwebs, man. Let the Sandman go, get out your face. The Sandman be swinging and punching and knocking you down. You're like, man, just let me lay down. Just stop hitting me. I'll stay down. No, you got to get up. See? So when we talk about our people wake up, like this is not some cliche. This is literally spiritually a deep sleep that's on our people. So when we saying now we're woke, that's literally what we're doing, waking our people up, right? But it's been hijacked and politicized now. You see Agent Orange, man, running through trying to clean up quote unquote wokeness in the White House. That was part of Doja's responsibility when they got rid of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. When they got rid of that whole department, talking about, oh, that was too woke. They was looking out for the sodomites and everybody else. Okay, I get all that, but guess what? Stop hijacking every damn thing that we have to utilize to work our people up, because then it just becomes a fad. And I think that's what's happening sometimes within our community. They get turned into a fad. You dig what I'm saying? And that's why men and women lose faith. They become disinterested. They start saying, oh, this is mundane, man. We do the same thing every weekend. It's a Sabbath. We go out, we teach, we come back. We don't do nothing the same. Guess what, man? Hey, what do you think our people was doing 40 years in the damn wilderness? The same old thing, rehearsing, getting ready to get into that promised land. If we didn't do it, guess what? That's why every generation got put to death, except for Joshua, Caleb, and that new generation. All the originals was out. Took us 40 years, man. The scripture said, man, our clothes didn't wither. We was walking on the same footsteps for 40 years. You got some nerve to be talking about how bored you are. You're tired of doing the same thing over and over again, and you only been in the truth a year. Get the hell out of here. Our people is wild. Don't study, don't put in no work, don't get out and do nothing to help uplift the nation. Sit back and complain all damn day, but don't want to make no changes, or don't want to be the inspiration to make change. I've seen it all. And they say, oh, I'm out of here. I don't like this no more. I used to be an Israelite. What? This is why we got to wake our people up. Stand firm, stand strong. What are we waking up to? Right? 1 Corinthians 15:34 says, awake to righteousness. That's what we got to get woke to. What's righteousness? The keeping of the commandments. Deuteronomy 6:25. Awake to righteousness and sin not. Who says that the laws is not in the New Testament? Why? You have to understand what is righteousness. And then we're talking about sin. But the Christians are running around talking about the laws is done away with. We're under the grace and mercy of Christ. We only got to keep the 2 greatest commandments. The laws can't save you. All this foolishness, man. And let's just say that is the case. For argument's sake, let's just say the law of no. How much harm can it be for me to change my diet and not eat pork, shrimp, crab, or lobster, or any unlawful bottom dwelling fish of the sea, right? How's that harming you? Me not killing, murdering my brother. What's wrong with that? Me not committing adultery. Is something wrong with that? You got a problem with that? If I steal something, I got to give back 7-fold to my brother that I stole it from. Is there a problem with that? Me not charging interest to my brother or my sister. You got a problem with that? I mean, really? Keeping the Sabbath holy, actually honoring and reverencing the Most High, and taking a break and resting on the 7th day. Is there a problem with that? If your answer is no, then shut the hell up then. Stop pushing so hard that you ain't got to keep the law. The least of your argument should say, you know what? There's nothing wrong with you keeping the law. I'm just saying I don't see why we need to. And then that can become a different conversation. Because it is necessary. All the way in the last chapter of the Bible in Revelation 22:14 tells us that the commandments still should be being kept. This is why the Lord said we got to awake to righteousness and sin not. I mean, 1 John 3:4 says that sin is transgression of the law. Why are we talking about the law still? Awake to righteousness. What's righteousness? We can't just try to figure it out ourselves. The Bible will define it for us. The Bible tells us what's righteousness. It ain't about, holding the door open for the old lady. And even though those are good moral characteristics to have, but is that a law? No, can't say that. But there's plenty of things that help us understand how to be a righteous people. Morally, civilly, dietarily, ceremonially, all the aspects that, according to Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter tells us that these things are going to make us, the nations acknowledge and say, this is a wise and understanding people, paraphrasing, right? Awake to righteousness and sin not, for some have not the knowledge of the Most High. I speak this to your shame. See, so it's about awakening to righteousness and getting back to the knowledge of the Most High. Can't blink, man. You might miss something. The distractions are set up in droves for our people. And at the slip of a dime, any minute, our people can get sidetracked and move on. They say that our people's attention span is like that of a goldfish. So how fast, how hard you hit and grab the attention of the people will determine how long they actually won't listen. You know it, I know it. If you're scrolling, looking at YouTube shorts and Instagram reels and whatever else, what was that other app that they used to have that had like what was it, 20-second videos, a 10-second? What was that one? If y'all know what I'm talking about, throw it in the chat. Snapchat. I think it was like you could make a quick little 30-second video or less than that. And then it disappears after you do it. I never used it, but I used to hear about it, and the kids was all infatuated with it, and then they got rid of it. So our enemy is constantly working on distractions, trying to keep our attention spans stuck down as that of a goldfish, but we've got to rise above that. Why? Romans 13, verse 11, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. Yeah, you see what's going on. Everybody sees what's going on. Time is moving in rapid succession. We're seeing prophecies unfolding left and right. I mean, just the average Joe Smo was running around here saying, man, something ain't right in earth, man. Things is crazy nowadays, man. It's wild out here. I mean, this is just from the nigga on the street. He's saying, hey, this ain't right. The world is crazy. And that's the opportunity for conversation. Say, yeah, did you know about this? You know about that? Hey, what you think about this? You know that's in the Bible? Now let me holler at you real quick, man. And if they're really seeking, they're going to listen. They might say, oh, yeah, okay, I got to go, brother. Because they don't really want to be held accountable. They don't want that fear of what they're witnessing to be real. They want it to be temporal. They think that, oh, it'll go by. Yeah, it'll pass on. You know, no, it's not gonna pass on. Oh, it's just a trend. Oh, this is just this is just what it happens during this time. No, it's a lot deeper than that, right? Let me get a couple more, and then we'll get to the business at hand. I felt compelled in the spirit to bring this out for brothers and sisters. Book of Proverbs. What I do? Isaiah? No, I want Proverbs. Salaki. Proverbs 6 chapter. Let's read the 9th verse. You got a problem with being slothful. You got a problem with being motivated, to do things for the Lord, to do things for yourself, do things for your household, set and establish personal goals that you're trying to do. You got to get into the scriptures, man, because look, the scriptures tell us in Proverbs 6, how long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands asleep. So shalt thy poverty come as one that traveleth, as thy want as an armed man. See, they're talking about desperation. The one is an armed man, like that's somebody who's desperate, wants to go out there. He needs to rob, steal, kill, to get whatever he needs to get. He's at the brink of his limitations of sanity. He's like, hey, I gotta go get it. No. So it says poverty, man, meaning exactly what it is. Come as one traveling. What goes around comes around. If you want to be a sluggard, slothful, spiritually, physically, the question is being posed. I mean, how long you gonna sit on your hands? How long you gonna sit back and just say, hey, you know what? I don't know what's going on. I don't care. Don't wake me up yet. My time will come. That's your calling. That's your thing. I'm doing my thing. Before you know it, man, everybody's going to be convinced. There's only one thing going on here. And we ain't got a lot of time to figure it out. Matthew 24:22 says, except those days should be shortened. There should be no flesh saved. For the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So with the elect being in mind, Yahweh said that the days are going to be shortened. Otherwise, no flesh is going to be saved, man. If you, and I'm sure many of y'all do understand the magnitude of what is going to take and what is going to be like to bring forth the delivered of the elect of Israel and how that's going to reflect on the world, it's unimaginable. Leave it to the so-called white man. He will self-destruct the whole world just through World War III and nukes, ICBM missiles and all that, where no flesh could be saved. Just the war alone. They've got enough arsenal between Russia, China, America, Pakistan, India. They've got enough nukes, man, to destroy the earth 10 times over. I mean, we're already seeing food shortages. We're seeing the earth deteriorating where it's not even rendering the proper nutrients and the health values that most of the crops should be accustomed to. We're in an age now where we're sitting back trying to figure out what's real and what isn't anymore. Now everything from what we see, what we hear, what we're eating, we're questioning reality now. I mean, this is all bad. That's why I was trying to say, hey, look, we gotta cut this short. Otherwise, ain't nobody gonna make it about this thing. All bad, right? Isaiah 65, one more, and then we'll get to some of these current events. Isaiah 65, we're gonna read verse 8 and 9. Here's some inspiration. It ain't always all doom and gloom with me, all right? I try to balance it out, and I hope y'all recognize that. Sometimes y'all be like, oh, it's too much. I can't do. Hey man, we ain't seen too much. We ain't seen enough. That's what happens, man. Our people wait until it gets really bad, until it's like right in your face, and then we want to make changes. Then we want to, straighten up. Then we want to get our acts together. Yeah, by then it might be too late. So Isaiah 65, 8, 9 says, thus saith Yahweh, as the new wine is found in the cluster, and one saith, destroy it not, for a blessing is in it, so will I do for my servant's sake, that I will not, that I may not destroy them all. See, the Lord said 2/3 of our people are going to be destroyed, cut off and die. But he knows. And matter of fact, who's the servants? Let's get a precept on that, because he said for his servant's sake this is going to happen. Leviticus 25 and verse 55. For unto me the children of Israel are servants. Not everybody, I don't give a damn how many of our people are running around here talking about how they're servants of the Lord at the Greater Ebenezer Baptist Church, or at the African Episcopal Church, or at Holy St. Mary's Cathedral, or no. I'm a servant of the Lord, standing out like a mannequin, saying, do you know Jehovah, with a damn comic book pamphlet that you hand to people. No. The Lord says, I've got defined servants. I know who I've presented as servants to me. Doesn't Romans 9 and 4 says that the children of Israel who were given the service of the Most High, that's goes along with the priesthood, that goes along with the Most High anointing us as servants. That also goes to him acknowledging who he is of service to. You're like, who the Most High looks out for. For unto me the children of Israel are servants. They are my servants, whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. I am Yahweh your power. He said it twice. The children of Israel are the servants of the Lord. They are my servants. Don't get it twisted. All right, let's get back to this Isaiah 65. Thus saith the Most High Yahweh, as the new wine is found in the cluster, and one saith, destroy it not, for a blessing is in it, so will I do for my servant's sake, that I may not destroy them all. Verse 9. And I will bring forth a seed out of Jacob. Oh, we're talking about seed. We're talking flesh. We're talking bloodline. Oh, we're not talking spiritual Israel. We're not talking about the church. The spiritual church. That's the Jews rejected Christ. What? No. I will bring forth a seed out of Jacob and out of Judah, an inheritor of my mountains, and mine elect shall inherit it, and my servants shall dwell there. That's future prophecy that we're going to inherit back to our homeland, back to the land where the inheritor of the mountains, meaning the landmass that's promised to our people. The elect is going to inherit it. The chosen. Of who? The seed of Jacob. We got good things coming, y'all. We just got to maintain. We got to keep pushing. We got to keep fighting. We got to make sure that we don't fall back asleep. Because some of our people, man, some of our brothers, man, and sisters, man, they falling back asleep. They're with the infighting. They're with all the extras, man. They trying to, figure out their position in this thing. Look, that's what I was saying then. Always remember, fear the Most High, keep the commandments. It's the whole duty of man. Everything else will fall in place as the Lord elects to give you greater understanding. But your principles should be intact with how you're going to make it of this thing. All right, here we go. So much for praying for peace and all that, right? We know how this goes. I always start off with some information regarding the wars. Yahweh said there's going to be wars, rumors of wars. We know that there's evidences of wars is going to take place in Revelation 17, 18, 14. I mean, it's understood, right, that warfare is going to take place. Jeremiah 50 and 51. There's no stopping Ezekiel 38. France orders hospitals to be ready for war by next year. That's why we just got to read that in Matthew 24. They said that the time is going to be cut short for the elect's sake, right? Who knows how much time we've got, right? Only thing we can do is just stay focused, stay alert, stay on point with our command, keeping to the commandments, man, being good examples to the flock, and doing the work, right? There's no time limit. Yahweh said he don't even know the day or the time. But what he did acknowledge is that it's going to be the time that we thinking, time's going to have to get cut short. So I don't think anybody was even picturing the possibility of World War III cracking off next year in 2026. I may mention last week because I've seen some, some quote unquote futurists and cats that do predictions. And this one Edomite man, I forgot his name, but he's got a computer model that does all kind of uh, uh, variations and variables. He enters in all kind of damn scenarios and to predict outcomes. And according to him, or his computer, he's saying that there is supposed to be a high chance of World War III kicking off next year sometime, at the latest 2027. But in all the modeling or whatever they call it, like all of the scenarios that he put in there is no question. Nothing ever came back saying there's not going to be a war. Even the damn computers and the algorithms and the scenarios that he's putting in, everything always equals war. War is coming down the pipeline, right? Now he said by next year. Now here goes an article that coincides with what he was saying. France is telling the hospitals get ready for the last year or two. I mean, NATO did its biggest military drills 2 years ago, trying to get ready. Russia's already been active. We've seen them just have they big summit together. Russia, China, India, Japan, the BRICS summits, and all the other nations laid down heavy conversations among each other, how they're going to conspire against America and the dollar and everything else. So lines are clear, lines being drawn, right? Now they're telling the hospitals get ready for war by next year. Germany warns us on alert. Putin says military drills that could be coming to attack Europe. Whether this is just cannon fodder, some war drums beating, we'll find out. Because I've gone over gang articles saying similar things. One thing's for sure, two things for certain. One of these times is going to be real. They were talking about the conflict coming between Ukraine and Russia. That was getting predicted almost 6 to 8 months before it started. And lo and behold, it went live. So look, French hospitals have been ordered to make preparations for an imminent war in Europe, as Germany says it's on alert for Russia's military drills. France's Ministry of Health has told health bodies across the country to prepare for a possible major engagement by March of 2026, according to documents obtained by Lee, Canard, and Chan. So March 2026, they're saying it could possibly go down in Europe. Possibly go down. Let's continue. Look at this. Russia gears up for new nuclear missile tests. Significant activity on Russia's Novaya Zemlya archipelago indicates an impending test of the nuclear-powered Burevestnik cruise missile shown as Skyfall by NATO. The activity shows up in satellite imagery, aircraft hazard notifications, ship transponder trackers, and open source intelligence reporting at a time when long Arctic days and good weather mean favorable conditions for building projects at the Pankovo test range and nearby airbase. So I'm not going to read the rest of it, but we can clearly see that Russia's gearing up. They're posturing up with new nuclear missile testings. Earlier in the week, or it might have been the end of last week, China had their anniversary of, I forgot what the honor of the anniversary was, but they broke out a new laser, all kind of hyper technical weapons that America was like, oh snap, we're not ready for that. Just as they came off of their summit. Let me see if I can find the article. Did y'all see that? Anybody see that? Where China unveiled they had the laser. They had all kind of stuff going on out there. Yeah, look at this. China unveils new high-tech weapons in a major military parade China unveiled dozens of high-tech weapons and platforms in a grand parade Wednesday, including massive underwater drones, high-energy lasers, and a host of advanced missiles. Many of the weapons, such as anti-ship missiles and ICBMs, can project power far from the country's shores. So, that's just letting you know, man, what's in the air right now. The nations are running around, showcasing, showing off their weapons. China laid it out real big, man. They had some of the little military experts within the U.S. was kind of nervous. Some of them was like, "Oh snap! Like we don't have nothing like that. We're not ready for this, right?" So you see what's going on there. Russia's, out here testing their nukes, and in the meantime, we see here Caribbean War fears grow as Venezuela fighter jets fly over U.S. warship and show of force. So, like we've been tracking for the last 2 weeks now, Agent Orange is on a mission now to try to colonize the Caribbean again, and claiming it's a quote unquote war on drugs. He's constantly weaponizing the plight of the 10 tribes, the Northern Kingdom, to further agendas of a growing dictatorship within this administration, right? All of the things that he's done utilizing ICE and saying, "Oh, we've got to do something about immigration." His first term, it was, "We just got to build a wall." This go around, it's not only we building a wall, we're getting troops on the streets, we're hunting them down. You can mask up, glove up, get innovative, do what you got to do. I don't care if they're Americans. We're going to ship them out wherever we're going. The one cat man that got deported, that was from Maryland, got deported to El Salvador. They just shipped him off to Africa. They dropping people off wherever, disappearing them, alligator Alcatraz, building up new FEMA camps all over the country. But the excuse is, "Oh, it's because of the immigration." But no, we know that this is all about building up a police state. This is all about him establishing a one world government order, all the above, right? He's expanding the tech sector, everything. Now he said, "Oh, it's because of the drugs. The war on drugs. That's how we're going to, get back down there and topple Venezuela again. So we can get that oil. We can get the gold." This is modern day colonialism, man. This damn Esau coming back over here trying to smash a nation who's been defiant against them, telling them we're not bowing down no more. No, we don't want no more loans. We want you out of our pockets. We want you out of our country. Yeah, so what? We're over here struggling. We'll figure it out. The socialism, that only goes so far, man. The government tries to take care of their people and do everything for them, but when the economy breaks, when Esau ran up in there and said, "Guess what? We're throwing you on sanctions. You don't want us to be a part of, the development of Venezuela anymore. You don't want any more loans, high interest loans from the IDF and all of that. Okay, you don't want us to have us put in one of our puppeteer presidents. You don't want that? Okay, guess what? We're going to put you on sanctions. We're cutting off you from access to the world's money and economy. You got oil, but guess what? You ain't the only one. Everybody else does. There's other places there that do too. We can do it without you. And if anybody deals with you, we're going to be on their ass too." So everybody backs away. Now Venezuela's, trying to figure out how to get money and do things and establish their economy, and they can't take care of their people no more. So inflation is super high. It's all over the place. So now, but guess what's still there? That oil is still there. Gold is still there. You got a whole country full of servants that you can put to work for pennies on the dollar, building and establishing an extension of Babylon, which it already is, but under the banner of the red, white, and blue. You dig what I'm saying? Like, this is what they're trying to do, and trying to say, "Oh, it's because of the drugs." When has Venezuela ever been known as some big old drug hub? It's always been Mexico, Colombia, Where else? Really, those are the two main drug hubs. I mean, I don't know that maybe this some other ones, but you know, act like big cartels is being ran out of Venezuela. That ain't going down. But he knows that he knows what they're trying to get, right? But Venezuela ain't backing down. You seen the articles we've been tracking the last couple of weeks, man. Venezuela is sending like 5,000, troops to the borders. They arming up. They said, man, if we're gonna go out, we're going out swinging. So after America went in and lit up a quote unquote drug boat, now Venezuela's sending their fighter jets over there, flying over the warship, saying, man, back up. This is, this how you see, man. Esau, man, so damn wicked. It's ridiculous. Remember, they seized Maduro's plane, talking about it was involved in money laundering and some other stuff. Nothing ever came of that. But all they want to do is expand and colonize and steal and rape minerals and resources. Look what the chump did with his own people over there in Ukraine. Why I say his own people? Because they all Edomites. Regardless, you say you're Ukrainian and you from Queens, New York, as Donald Trump is, that they're all share the same forefather. But what did he do? He shook them down and got that mineral deal done. See, he's trying to get all the minerals and the resources to reestablish the dollar, to have some things that's backed up, because right now the dollar ain't backed up by near thing, no thing. They print up money out of thin air with nothing to back it up. This is why he's, leaning on the digital economies, looking towards precious metals and things like that, because that's where sustainability is. Not so much on the digital aspect, but metals and stuff like that are more sustainable. That's why he wants Greenland and all that other stuff, right? Notice he's on a conquering mission. He wants Panama. He wants that Panama Canal. But this is what he's doing. Habakkuk 2:12 says, woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establisheth a city by iniquity. This is what they do. They establish and they take by blood. They bomb and plant. Why, if it's a drug bust, man, if it's a drug boat, why the hell you blow it up and kill 11 people? What happened to Coast Guards or whatever you got, whatever military forces that you can utilize to pull the boat over? If it turns into a shootout, but you're supposed to be over there seizing the boat, arresting people, doing what you need to do, conducting investigations, but no. They bombing them and then saying, oh, it was Trinidad de Agua. There was gangs in there with cartel drugs. We'll never know. You blew the damn thing up. Woe to him that buildeth a town by blood. How's America built? Goodwill, handshakes, and love, like they say, Plymouth Rock, breaking bread, eating turkey and damn stuffing and cranberries. Is that how it works? We work arm in arm in them fields, man, building up the slave house. Oh, slave house. Oh, well, obviously somebody, there was a class system set up. Couldn't have been that way. How about those treaties, man? Did those things hold up? I mean, come on now. The Homestead Act, all of these things. Jim Crow. They built it all up through unrighteousness. Jeremiah 22:13 says, woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness. He's trying to expand his wings, man. He's trying to go build up some more in unrighteousness. Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness, and his chambers by wrong, that uses his neighbor's service without wages, and giveth him not for his work. Yeah, that's against the law. Okay, that goes back to, should we be keeping the law or not? Like, what harm is it? And if I'm an employer, I have to pay my employee at the end of the day. That's what the Lord said. That's how civil matters with business works under the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. You were to earn a day's wages. What does he do? He says, no. Come holler at me in 2 weeks. And then I'm going to tax you, and I'm going to take out your I'm taking all this other stuff out first before you even know what your final check is going to look like. I'm getting mine first. That's wicked. But if we were under the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, that wouldn't be going down. And those salty Negro would be like, we ain't got to keep the law. Forget all that. Well, There's no getting through to some of the stiff neck of our people. That's part of the law, man. And then we see here the Lord said, "Woe to him." You want to add up the charges on where and why America is going to be destroyed and what it's going to be judged by. These are the type of things they built their house through bloodshed and iniquity. They're building houses by unrighteousness and chambers by wrong. They're using their neighbor's service without wages. I mean, we know the legacy and the history of slavery. Think our people got paid for that? How many inventions and patents were stolen and manipulated by them from our people building up and making things, right? And giving them not for his work. That saith, I will build me a wide house and large chambers and cut them out windows and is sealed with cedar and painted with vermilion. Shalt thou reign because thou closetest thyself in cedar, and did not thy father eat and drink and do judgment and justice, and then it was well with him? See, this is what they're doing, building up these big old mansions and homes and expanding out with vacation homes and buying islands in Belize and Keys and all different areas of the Caribbean, and got our people in there serving, taking care of, landscaping their land, just expanding and building. Make no mistake about it, man. Everything that's going down there in the Caribbean is because he's trying to take over these particular countries. The influence of America and the seizing of those resources is the main objective. Being hidden under the terms of, we're trying to stop the drugs. I ain't heard no big drug scandal going on out of Venezuela. I don't think ever. It's always been the biggest drug hub right now is Mexico and everything that's flowing through it. And we got China now because they're involved in the fentanyl and they're teaming up with the cartels. That's a fact. But here they go. See? The para-armed F-16 fighter just flew over the USS Jason Dunham on Thursday, according to the Department of Defense, describing the move as highly provocative. The department described it as an attempt to interfere with U.S. counter-narco-terror operations. This other so-called white man, he's so slick, man. He loves to rebrand, rename counter-narco-terror operations. Now there's, I think he did classify cartels as terrorists now. Now he says it's because of the Trinidad gang. Well, they was the biggest thing going on when they were taking over Colorado and New York and everything else. You ain't heard nothing about them no more in America. You don't hear about this dangerous Venezuelan gang that was taking over the streets of America through Biden's immigration policy. They were just flooding them in here. Now they disappeared. Oh, but we've already weaponized that gang now, so we can slap them on anything going on with Venezuela, because we've already painted the picture that this is some evil organization. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist and they're not a real gang, but that's what they do, is they set it up so that you can have a fall guy, so that when they go and do some BS, it's already implanted in the minds of the people. Oh, okay, well that was good. Glad they did that, because we heard those people it was all bad, and we don't even know if it was really this gang or not. See, let's continue. Look, Trump says U.S. strike on vessel in Caribbean targeted Venezuela's Trinidad gang, killing 11. Donald Trump said Tuesday the U.S. has carried out a strike in the southern Caribbean against a drug-carrying vessel that departed from Venezuela and was operated by the Trinidad gang. Again, when did they start patrolling the seas in the Caribbean and just start blowing up boats that's supposedly carrying drugs? I thought they were supposed to seize the drug, get the evidence, arrest people if need be. These are acts of war, man. The president said on social media, posting that 11 people were killed in the rare U.S. military operation in the Americas, a dramatic escalation in the Republican administration's effort to stem the flow of narcotics from Latin America. Trump also posted a short video clip of a small vessel appearing to explode in flames. See that? And just like a damn trendy. I don't know what the type of word to use for him, but what does he do? Run the social media and go post it. See, this is him falling in line with the trends. I gotta go on. I gotta go post this on True Social. Oh boy, they're gonna love this one. Oh, hey, attach the video too. Yeah, that's what he's up to do. Look, the strike occurred while the terrorists were at sea in international waters, transporting illegal narcotics heading to the United States. We'll never know. Where's the drugs at? You blew the damn thing up. How do we know there was drugs in there? No U.S. forces were harmed in the strike. Please let this serve as a notice to anybody even thinking about bringing drugs to the United States of America. Did they recover the drugs? Huh? Oh, okay. Covered 11 dead bodies. Oh, U.S. deploying 10 fighter jets to Puerto Rico for drug cartel fight, says the source. So, since when has Puerto Rico been a big drug hub? I mean, have y'all ever heard about these big cartels out of Puerto Rico now? No, you have. Oh, it's the expanding attempt to take over. Let me fix this. Attempt to take over the Caribbean. You know, he's back trying to conquer and take over these particular places. Notice how he always was teasing about, let's say Canada, when they didn't like the tariffs and he was threatening them. He was like, "We can make you the 52nd state, or what is it, the 51st state, and we'll just take over and get all the resources." Because what, Canada was supplying power to some of the states and the was it the Northeast. He's like, well, why should I even deal with you with the power? We can just take you over, and take the power. So there they go down there in Venezuela blowing up ships. Now they're sending 10 F-35 fighter jets over to Puerto Rico. They've already been shaking down Haiti. And what are they claiming that they're calling Barbecue? What's the brother's name? I forgot his full name, but his nickname is Barbecue. They're calling him a quote unquote what, gang leader. So now we've got cartels in Puerto Rico, cartels in Venezuela, cartels in Mexico, gangs in Haiti. America's trying to be the great, equalizer, and we're trying to fight all the gangs and the terrorists and the drug dealers to make you safe. And they're the biggest drug dealers in the world. What are you talking about? How many times have I talked about and even shown the video of Geraldo Rivera over there doing the interview in Afghanistan with the troops guarding the poppy fields? And the poppy fields is where they were generating the heroin from. How many times we got to talk about Rick Ross, Gary Webb, Oliver North, the Iran-Contra scandal, drugs being imported in here by America? How many times we been hearing about America's what's the name of that Obama had, Operation Fast and Furious, sending guns down to the cartels in Mexico, claiming that they were going to be used. They were tracking the guns so they can find the cartels. So they would sell them to the cartels, and then they would track the guns so they can catch the cartels. That didn't work. Okay, yeah, the water. There you go. Jimmy Chazelier, Barbecue, right? America's the biggest damn drug dealers out here, man. Maybe they're going to shake down all of them, man, to get them to work for them. They always want a piece of the pie. Ain't anybody seen that movie King of New York? Old movie from the early 90s. King of New York, Frank White. That's where Notorious B.I.G. Biggie Smalls got one of his nicknames from, Frank White. Frank White was this old notorious, drug dealer, got locked up. He ended up coming back out and he wanted to be king again. So he's, going to war with and conspiring his way to get back on top. But he came out and he said, "Hey, you guys got fat while I was out." He was shaking down the Italians and everybody else. And he was telling them, he said, "Look, if a nickel bag is sold in the park, I want in. Doesn't matter." He wanted in on everything. That's how America is ran. America is like, "Hey, You selling drugs on there in Mexico? I want in. I need that. Puerto Rico, I need that. Haiti, I need that. What's going on over there in Venezuela? Oh, yeah, we need that. Oh, you don't like it? I'm gonna send a warning shot to you. Just bomb this boat. You smell me now? Oh, okay. Let's talk business. Right? And you notice all of these other countries, they can't just be sitting back co-signing and defending drug dealers. I mean, that would kind of be insane, right? But these other countries, man, they know that this is a hostile takeover that America's attempting. You've seen what happened with the GMO Jewess, not ISH, WESS, the artificial GMO small head president of Mexico. She stand in defiance against the chump saying, no, you're not bringing troops down here, this, that, and third. Like, we know what you're trying to do. Same thing over there in Venezuela, same thing in Haiti, same thing in Puerto Rico. Like, they're not having this. And they like, no, we see what you're trying to do. So in the act of war, they sent in 15 F-35 fighter jets to Puerto Rico. Do you know, Puerto Rico is a small island, man. They can light that thing up. But, you know what? Let's see how big Puerto Rico is. I don't my Puerto Rican brothers and sisters out there, man, don't have me don't have me downplay the land of your homeland. But to keep it real, it is a fairly small island. Now, let's see where it is. Well, this is just the whole map. I'm just moving in the spirit, y'all. Bear with me. Now look at this small. Here it is down here. Look at this small little island right here. In comparison to, I mean, just look, Florida, you can fit probably 5 of these in Florida. The USA picking on small little Puerto Rico, man. You got Cuba down here. Now they're sending 10 F-35 fighter jets down there, talking about we're trying to stop drug dealing going on. Believe that if you want to. Okay. U.S. has ordered the deployment of 10 F-35 fighter jets to a Puerto Rico airfield to conduct operations against drug cartels. 2 sources briefed on the matter said, in a move likely to further inflame tensions in the region. Further inflame tensions. They're agitating. The advanced fighter jets will be added to an already bristling U.S. military presence in the Southern Caribbean as President Donald Trump carries out a campaign pledge to crack down on groups he blames for funneling drugs into the United States. And they've already colonized Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is one of the big plants that Monsanto is involved with. Monsanto, Bill Gates, cancer. Look it up if you don't know what I'm talking about. Roundup, right? Deadly chemical in the fertilizer. Monsanto, same company that made Agent Orange, that bombed the hell out of the Vietnamese and got them looking all deformed and jacked up since the Vietnam War. Yeah, same company, Monsanto. Look it up, right? Look at this. Friday's development comes 3 days after U.S. forces attacked the boat that Trump said was carrying massive amounts of drugs from Venezuela. The sources speaking on condition of anonymity said that 10 fighter jets are being sent to conduct operations against designated narco-terrorist organizations operating in the Southern Caribbean. The plane should arrive in the area by the late next week. So let's not be surprised if some more things get blown up in the act of intimidation. Look at this. Trump signs an order renaming the Department of Defense as the Department of War. Now that's big. Look what he says here. President Donald Trump on September 5th signed an executive order renaming the Department of Defense as the Department of War. What's he say? I think it's an appropriate, quote. I think it's a much more appropriate name, especially in light of where the world is right now. Trump said before signing the order at the Oval Office, quote, "We have the strongest military in the world. We have the greatest equipment in the world." That ain't what they were saying after China broke out their weapons. But anyway, what did he say? "I think it's a much more appropriate name, especially in light of where the world is right now." So not are they talking about being in the Department of Defense? They're the Department of War now. Why did he say that? He said because that's where the world is right now. I mean, is that not plain? I mean, I don't know. How much further should you be looking to understand? Right. Sirach 4, verse 24 says, "For by speech wisdom shall be known." You've got to extrapolate, take out that wisdom, what he said out his own tongue. Remember in Psalm 64 and 8 says, "They shall cause their own tongues to fall upon themselves." He just told on himself saying, we're getting ready to go to war. I'm changing up whole strategies. We're not in defense anymore. We're going to war with people. I'm taking it to people. He's starting off in the Caribbean. Next thing you know, they're going to expand to Europe, Russia, China, etc. That's how you get pulling wisdom about it. They said, "For by speech, wisdom shall be known." So not only do we collect wisdom through teachings and learnings and understanding, so forth and so on, but you got to pick up the devil in the details. When he says stuff like that, that should tell you something. And he's making a change in the whole department, saying, "No, we're not the Department of Defense anymore. We're the Department of War right now," because that's what it is in the world. Take that for what you will. We're gonna move on. The Trump considers deploying the National Guard to Portland after over 80 days of terrorist anti-ICE raids. Riots. Our brothers up there in the Northwest, man. Y'all already know. Portland's been notorious for being a ground for like Antifa, agent provocateurs. They turn up all the little meth heads and the little agent tree hugging Edomites. Get them all turned up, man. They love to riot and turn up some stuff over there, man. They got homeless encampments all over the place, man. Portland is pretty ran down and jacked up in many areas, and then he got good areas too. But they're no strangers to turning up against the government and acting a fool. Remember they tried to create their own little city and said they didn't want no police in there, and the next people start getting shot and jacked up, and they was like, "Oh, we want police now." Was that in Portland or was that in Seattle? I can't remember. That's the Northwest nonetheless. But they've been turning up down there, man, with all these little anti-ICE riots, wilding out up there. And now, guess who's getting ready to knock on the door? National Guard. Everybody hands up, round them up, slap the cuffs on them. We've got a detention center waiting for you. Right? So Portland might be next. I mean, we've been hearing about everybody from Chicago, New York, DC, LA, Portland. It's par for the course. We've seen 15 other states that the National Guard was going to be deployed to. So, this is what it is. This is just moral second Ezra, the 9th chapter, about there being earthquakes and uprisings, uproars of the people in the world. Pentagon authorizes up to 600 military lawyers to serve as temporary immigration judges. See, this is how they're fast forwarding the issue. So here they are running up people, doing all these ICE raids, shaking down people, throwing people in camps, detention centers, disappearing people, separating families, kidnapping kids, doing all kind of madness. And now what are they doing? They're trying to prosecute and get rid of them faster and faster. 600 military lawyers. Now this is showing military. So not only are they employing military lawyers, they got troops on the streets, quote unquote, surveilling and assisting local authorities with these raids. ICE is the secret police. Gestapo, Stasi units running rampant through the country. We know that the Northern Kingdom's already been targeted. We've already covered a number of different articles showing you, hey, black folks is next. They're already being dispersed into the cities. And now they're getting more than enough judges to drop the gavel and say guilty, deport, guilty, ship off, guilty, detain, whatever. Fast tracking these judgments, right? They're moving fast, y'all. That's why I said the time's going to be cut short. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has approved sending up to 600 military lawyers to the Justice Department to serve as temporary immigration judges. According to a memo reviewed by the Associated Press, the military will begin sending groups of 150 attorneys, both military and civilians, to the Justice Department as soon as practicable. And the military services should be the first round of people identified by next week, according to the August 27th memo. So it should be happening at any moment now. The effort comes as the Trump administration more regularly turns to the military as it cracks down on illegal immigration through ramped up arrests and deportations. Its growing role in the push includes troops patrolling the U.S.-Mexico border, National Guard members being sent in U.S. cities to support immigration enforcement efforts, housing people awaiting deportation to military bases, and using military aircraft to carry out deportations. Who would have thought we'd see today, man? Military is actively being involved in day-to-day regular operations from state to state now. That was a far stretch some years ago. Oh, that was a conspiracy theory years ago. FEMA camps, military's on the streets, police state, all that. Oh, no, you guys are crazy. That'll never happen. Okay. It's not to the extremes that you may see or envision, and based upon what you may have thought would happen, like in a movie like The Siege and stuff like that. But we are seeing it happen slowly but surely. It's like a slow kill, soft kill type method. It's a lullaby. Slowly but surely, feed them a little bit, get them comfortable, get them used to it, sedate them. And next thing you know, you're so used to having the needle and sedation in your arms, man, you're not even, knowing that you're being drugged no more. So it's slow methods. Detainees report alleged. Good Lord, somebody alarm going on. All right. Anyway, there goes Satan again. We keep pushing. Detainees report alleged uprising at Alligator Alcatraz. A lot of people have bled. See the corruption going on over there in the Alligator Alcatraz? Reports of incidents were denied by Florida and ICE officials as detainees say they were beaten and tear gas was fired. I mean, they can lie and say, that ain't never happened. That goes on in every penitentiary, every jail in the United States, man. That's policy. That's been going on for, hold on. That's been going on since biblical time. What are we talking about? No, we treat our inmates all with dignity and respect. What? There was just a case, man, where a dude, one of the ICE agents at the detention center, man, just got busted for raping a woman. Raping women down there. Holding it over their head, man. You gonna get deported, man, if you don't do what I say. Hold on. Before we get that. Let me see if I can find that. Look at it. Now, we ain't even gonna go there. Hundreds of immigrants have reported sexual abuse at ICE detention centers. Look at it. Multiple men impersonating ICE agents, kidnapping and assaulting women. There was another one that just recently happened. Look, ICE guards systematically sexually assault detainees. But they swear up and down, oh, we're treating them with respect. Everything's great. Get out of here. We know. Massive cases of abuse is going on, man. They in there beating on them people, man. Taking advantage of them. Yeah, Oscar Rob. Yeah, I can't argue with that. I'm just going off of what we see directly. As far as deportation is concerned, rounding up and getting caught up in immigration things. There's no next with them. They went that didn't happen. As far as abuse targeting and all that, yeah, that, Southern Kingdom always gets it. That's a fact. And it lays down the standard for what the rest is going to fall for. But look at this in Acts 5, right? This is, I think, Gamaliel had to go ahead on and correct, the fellow Pharisees and all that was coming against the apostles. And what did he tell them? He said, "And now I say unto you, refrain from these men." Because they were speaking, they was preaching outside. They didn't want, the Pharisees in the temple didn't want that being spoken of. They were saying that they were out here committing acts of blasphemy and all kind of stuff, and they were getting persecuted, right? So this is correction that was being acknowledged and said, "Well, look, and now I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of man, it will come to naught." And that's how we know that the Spirit of the Lord rests upon those who He blesses to do the work and who isn't. Because if it's motivated by man, if you got any type of arrogancy, vanity in you, that you just want to go out there and do it for yourself, the Most High will eventually expose it and will crush it and dead it. But if it's of the Most High, verse 39, but if it be of the Most High, ye cannot overthrow it, lest haply ye be found even to fight against the Most High. So if it's blessed of the Lord, nobody can overthrow it, right? But what did they do? It says, "And to him they agreed, and when they had called the apostles and beaten them," see that? They said, "Look, yeah, we hear you. All right, we'll leave them alone, but not before we don't do it again. Get out of our city with that." You understand? Put the beats on them. They commanded they should not speak in the name of Yahweh and let them go. I mean, that's been going on. People get accosted by officials and authorities. They be getting beat on, man. And here they are over here in Alligator Alcatraz saying, "Hey, man, we're getting abused over here, maced and tear gassed and beat." Yeah, I bet. Look at Paul. Paul said, "Thrice I was beaten with rods. Once I was stoned. Thrice I suffered shipwreck. A night and a day I have been in the deep." Like Paul was going through it. So can we believe that this happened? Yeah, you dang right. The Florida's quote Alligator Alcatraz immigration jail deployed tear gas and engaged in a mass beating of detainees to quell a mini uprising. It was reported on Friday. Yeah, well, they were saying, man, these cats are sleeping on concrete slabs, cold, jacked up, getting sick, and tuberculosis flying around. And I showed y'all the article, what was it, a week or so ago? At one of the detention centers, man, they were denying doctors entries. Doctors was trying to check them out. They were telling them no, they can't come in. Yeah, you're right. People's gonna start uprising and being like, man, this is ridiculous. Some people in there ain't even supposed to be there. Allegations made by 3 detainees in phone calls to Miami Spanish language news channels Noticias 23 come as authorities race to empty the camp in compliance with a judge's order to close the remote tenant camp in the Everglades and the wetlands. Yeah, they've been trying to push towards closing this Alligator Alcatraz, but guess what? They ain't closing it. Matter of fact, they're building a whole nother detention center in Florida. I didn't even put this in here, but see, look at it. Florida prepares to build a second immigration detention center to join Alligator Alcatraz. So they ain't done. You might see some little article talking about, oh, judge blocks and says Alligator Alcatraz. Look at this. Judge orders Alligator Alcatraz detention center in Florida to shut down for now. That was 15 days ago. Has it shut down? Heck no. They're moving fast forward, man. They putting up the signs and they building another one. It says here we go down here. They've beaten everyone here. A lot of people have bled, brother. Tear gas. We're immigrants. We're not criminals. We are not murderers. No. But you're guilty by association. You're the Northern Kingdom. You're in these curses. And that's just how it goes, man. And it's sad that we're seeing and hearing about this, but this is what's going on. And they opening up more. So that's to give everybody a heads up. When we're talking about these FEMA camps and talking about things that's going to go on within there, you're seeing right now, beating is going on, torture is going on, starvation is going on. And this is all going to apply to those of us in the faith when it's all said and done. Because just like we're reading in the times of Acts, and Yahweh warned us that we're going to be persecuted and hated of all men for his name's sake, and this, that, and the third. And we see during the time of the Greeks that it was unlawful for a man to declare that he was a Jew and keeping the Sabbath. And they're going to put situations out there to where you are either going to compromise the laws and the commandments and move in the system of the beast full-fledged, or you're going to be on the run and going to be a vagabond and a pilgrim in the earth, or you could be martyred, detained, and shackled and arrested for your beliefs. All is on the table for all of us. All of us. Right? Let's continue. A Mexican national from Flagstaff has died in the ICE detention center. No surprising. You understand? So, look, if we look down here, I'm not going to go too deep into this article, but I was saying, wow, and I'm a little surprised because I said, watch when a couple of people start dying during these raids and detention centers that people gonna turn up. Well, they ain't turned up yet. They said he's the 12th person this year to die in ICE enforcement custody, making 2025 the deadliest year in detention centers since 2000. See, is that what it said? 2000, 2020, right? This is a little off center, so but it's okay. Y'all get the point. Our people is getting put to death in these particular facilities, getting beat on, tear gas, denied food, all kind of madness, right? But just going back to Job, as we read earlier in Job 19, you're crying out wrong and nothing's being heard. No justice is happening. But the Lord is reserving justice. The Lord said, man, I'm mad at the wicked every day. While his indignation is compiling, man, that's why Esau got no chance in the world, as Don King would say, that you got two chances, slim and none, and slim is out of town. That's for the nations, and that's for the so-called white man in America. They got no chance. After the fiery indignation of the Lord rests upon his servants, man, and the elect, the Lord said, we're going to fight with his spirit. You can forget about it. Let's continue on. Look, hundreds arrested in immigration raid at a Hyundai site in Georgia. Some of y'all may have heard about this. They're saying 300. It's up to like 500 now. But what's so different about this? Remember, I was crying about this, saying, how come they ain't raiding the Chinese? They ain't raiding that. Blah, blah. Now they say, hey, shut up, IQ. We will raid them. Now, got something to say? Yeah, I still got something to say, because you know what? They tipped their hand with this. Notice here, it says, the U.S. carried out its largest single-site immigration raid, detaining nearly 500 foreigners at a Hyundai motor battery plant in Georgia and injecting fresh risk to overseas firms eyeing American investment to satisfy President Trump's trade demands. See, they tipped their hand because what? They got business deals. They've got billion-dollar deals on the table with China, North Korea, and some of these other nations that got high immigration or quote unquote illegal aliens over here. But because there's billions of dollars on the table and deals, they've been letting them slide. They ain't been tripping. Look, some 475 individuals were arrested Thursday at a factory under construction near Savannah, Georgia, set to make electric vehicle batteries in a joint venture between Hyundai and fellow South Korean firm LG Energy Solutions. The broader 7.6 billion EV production site there represents the largest manufacturing project in Georgia's history. So there you have it. They're not going after these other nations, man, because they got money deals. And they already talking about the South Korea is upset. They tripping. They like, hold on. We had a deal. Now watch how many of them get released and they get back to work and everything back to normal. You ain't gonna hear about them getting beaten, maced down in no damn alligator Alcatraz or detention centers in Georgia and immigrations and them getting shipped out and you know watch that you ain't gonna hear the same things come up out of this because South Korea then already raised hell and already basically said, look, man, we got $1 billion deals with you, man. You ain't supposed to be doing this. And Trump probably gonna be, oh, that wasn't me. It wasn't me. We thought it was Mexicans working in there. We'll get back to normal. They're gonna get them back on point. But I guess they said that, man, shut up, IQ. We gonna get the gooks too. No, I'm not falling for this one. Yeah, you got about 500 of them, but the whole country, South Korea, who's an ally of America, rose up immediately and was like, whoa, 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 hell no. See, look at it. How an ICE raid caused a diplomatic incident with a U.S. ally. See, this is all business. He wasn't supposed. Look, Hyundai raid. South Korea mounts a swift response. Seoul holds emergency meeting after citizens detained in U.S. Hyundai raid. I mean, are you seeing the same type of reactions from Mexico, Venezuela? You hearing the same reaction from Haiti? Whole country standing up saying, those are ours over there. No, you can't do that to them. See, they said this is all diplomatic, man. This is all business. They're gonna be back on the streets working again. Because they ain't finna shut down Hyundai, and they not about to let that slide. So no, I'm not falling for that. We'll see what happens. Let's move on. As I said before, he's working underhandedly. Remember, he was taking credit with Operation Warp Speed and all that when they got the jab set up and talking about he want to take full credit for putting the vid under control and all that other stuff, right? He's still rubbing elbows with Bill Gates. You thought Bill Gates disappeared? Oh, no. He's been crafting up more secret counsel and evil and wickedness behind closed doors. You know? And he's meeting with the chump. This is what I'm saying. He's pushing towards the digital ID. He's pushing towards all of the oppressive systems that the beast system is going to allow. President Trump hosts Bill Gates at White House, giving him a platform to spout his evil aspirations for AI-driven digital dystopia. After questioning Operation Warp Speed earlier this week, Trump invites Bill Gates to White House dinner and nods approvingly as Gates lays out dystopian vision for AI-controlled medical and food system. Hello? That's the beast system. Buy, sell, trade, you name it, economy, all driven through digital, medical, monetary, digital ID. Earlier this week, we see what's going on. President Trump posted a statement on his Truth Social. There he goes tweeting again that had his base of MAGA supporters flying high. Trump appeared to be questioning for the first time the wisdom of Operation Warp Speed and the efficacy of the COVID mRNA injections that are produced, promoted, and distributed en masse. Yeah, we ain't caring for all of that. Why are you inviting in Bill Gates, who was the biggest proponent of getting poked in the arms? I played you the video of him and his wife, or his ex-wife his wife at the time, she's ex-wife now, sitting on the couch talking about how they got to get the pokes to the black people and Native Americans and Hispanics first. Right? We've seen him doing TED Talks with GMO mosquitoes, talking about only the poor people shouldn't be the only ones who get poked up and bit up by these things, by these weaponized insects. We've seen him run around talking about doing death panels and population control, and if we can just really perfect vaccines, we can kill our populations and all this other stuff. I mean, he's been notoriously known for all different types of manners of evil. And here he is sitting down with the chump, man. What are they chopping it up about? Oh, a medical and food AI control system. I'm gonna do I've just been collecting and trying to formulate how I really want to, you know, produce the information and put it out there. But I'm gonna go back into, you know, more on this to the beast system, man, Revelation 13, all the other stuff, because it's becoming even more apparent how they're going to come with this thing, right? Here goes another one. Labor's big idea is ID cards for all. Blair wanted them years ago, and now as Macron demands action, Starmer takes interest. What is this talking about? It's talking about the EU introducing and getting ready to get digital IDs for everybody in Europe. And what are they saying? Oh, it's because we're trying to crack down on illegal immigrants and illegal workers. See, the stage is already set, the excuse is already there, and they've already gotten people who are willingly saying, yeah, we need that because we gotta get rid of these migrants. We gotta get rid of these people taking our jobs. We gotta get rid of these people who's, you know, overpopulating. And so the excuse is already there. They got people ready to sacrifice their freedoms and everything else for it because they've been fed this idea. But they're the same one. Listen, it's the Hegelian dialectic. We talked about it a million and one times. Problem, reaction, solution. The same thing that was going on over there in Europe. They were getting overflooded and overran with migrants coming from Africa and the Middle East and all of that, and flooding through Europe and all of that. And now they're saying, oh, we're overran. This ain't cool. They're the only ones that opened up the doors, told them, come on in. Then they say, oh, how's everybody? Is everybody comfortable? And when people say, hell no, it ain't comfortable. This ain't right, man. Get rid of them. Oh, you want me to do something about it? Okay, yeah, no problem. But it's going to cost you. What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to do for it? Doesn't matter. Just get rid of them. Okay, cool. Taking your guns, your rights. I'm digitally IDing you. I'm going to move with biometrics. I'm going to watch everything that you do. I need to listen to everything you're saying. I need to, you know, regulate your job, your paycheck. I'm be able to digitize your whole life. You okay with that? As long as I get rid of them sand niggas and get rid of them Africans, you're all right with that? By then it's too late. Yeah, you already in it. What they do over here? They've been blaming slow Biden for letting the drawbridge down, flooding them in. And now what? Oh, okay. Well, we'll get it under control. Well, we're going to put troops on the streets. Oh, you got a problem with that? No. Okay, we're going to build FEMA camps all over the place. You okay with that? Yeah, as long as it's not me. And next thing you know, you're the one getting locked up. We can start hearing about. Oh, we're patrolling the streets now for criminals. Hold on, I thought it was just about immigration and illegals. What are you doing about crime? That's what we got police for. Oh, no. You wanted us to handle it. This is how we're doing it. Matter of fact, where's your ID at? Let me talk to you. Hands on the wall. You know, see that that's how that's all gonna work, man. Every person in Britain could be forced to sign up for a digital ID card after Emmanuel Macron demanded action to tackle the scourge of illegal working. Sir Keir Starmer told the cabinet he would be exploring options around the concept of as part of a wider package of reforms designed to make it harder for illegal migrants to live and work here. See that? Isn't that nice? They just looking out for all of the Brits, man, making sure that you know your job is safe. But we're going to need to track you too. Under one option, anyone applying for a new job will be required to produce their digital ID to demonstrate that they have the right to live and work in the UK. See that? You're applying for a new job, you're going to be required to produce a digital ID. If you notice here in America, jobs is down, everything's down. So when they come back with a whole new system and new qualifications to apply for jobs, it's going to come with a whole new way. Watch when they really collapse everything. When they collapse everything. Hold on. When they collapse everything, they come back with the new way to apply and digitize employment. And you won't be able to get a job unless you got it. You know, those of us and those of you who already got jobs, yeah, you'll be grandfathered in. But eventually they're going to say, look, we got to change policy, y'all. You know, just like back in the day when you used to get paper checks. You used to wait around after getting your job and the mail come in on Friday and passing out the checks. You couldn't leave until your check came. And then they said, hey, we got this new thing called direct deposit. Everybody, you ain't got to get the paper no more. We'll just give you a copy of your check and it'll be right into your bank account. Don't worry. It's safe. Some people held on for a while, and eventually you just get put in that position where it's like, that's more convenient. And then some jobs is like, hey, we only deal with direct deposit. You don't like it, then don't work here. See how that works? And then next thing you know, people are acquiescing, and you go ahead and do it. Same thing here. Digital IDs just to get a job now is already on the table over there in the UK, and it's going to expand. 58. I've seen this. I said, good Lord, man. Half, man, you cats over there in the side, man, in Illinois, man, y'all are out of control. Not that it ain't been like this, but I said 58 people shot over the weekend. 58 people shot. One thing I can't say, man, is y'all can't shoot for nothing. Not to make light of this, but damn, 58 people. 58 people shot, 8 put to death, which is still tragedy. But damn. You shot 58 and only 8 died. You 50 didn't make it. It's crazy. And this is just on the heels of Trump was saying he was going to send troops to Chicago. Chicago mayor, everybody popped out and said, nah, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. You don't come over here. That following weekend, all of a sudden, 58 people get shot. I mean, I'm prone to believe that this was provoked. And in the age now where you got agents running around with masks and gloves and hats and unmarked cars, it wouldn't surprise me if they ran through there, man, and it was them shooting up some of their people. Granted, Israel's going to do some wickedness too and shoot each other up. There's no. That's why it's easier to do this, because who else would suspect that they didn't do it? You dig what I'm saying? Oscar Rob, you feel me? The week before, they talking about we're sending troops to Chicago. The mayor and everybody rise up and say, no. Oh, you don't want us there? Okay, well, maybe we'll give you a reason. We'll give you a reason to want troops there now. Now deny it after this, and the people are going to wild out on you. Thank you. Okay, Kohab, I'm not alone in this. Don't have me the only one with the tinfoil hat on. I believe so too. Because here you got ICE agents on the streets, man, fully incognito, shooting up stuff, and then nobody would suspect that it's them because of the gang wars and everything that already has been going on for decades. Who's gonna look and say that they did it? Just off of the strength of them saying you don't want us there? Okay, deny us now. You're gonna look crazy if you say you don't need help. Brandon Johnson, I dare you. Yeah, that's why I can speak from that perspective. Ashar, because they do it out here and have done it out here. You know how that works. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. 58 people, 8 people shot, right? Violent holiday weekend came as President Trump renewed threats to send federal agents and National Guard troops to Chicago over the objections of Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. Chicago is the worst, most dangerous city in the world by far. Pritzker needs help badly. He just doesn't know it yet. Did you hear that? Did you hear what the chump said? Pritzker needs help badly. He just doesn't know it yet. How's he going to know it? Oh, we're going to demonstrate. We're going to demonstrate. He doesn't know it yet. This is why, again, okay. Hold on. See, because they said, man, you're going too far with this, man. Hold on. No, am I? We quoted it earlier. Psalm 64 and 8. So they shall make their own tongue fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. They're going to confess. Their own tongue is going to tell on themselves. When you sit back telling the damn, when you sit back and you tell the Illinois governor, hey, you're going to need some help. You just don't know it yet. What are you trying to tell me? What are you threatening me? Are you telling me something going? Okay. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down. You already know what time it is. They says the worst city in the world by far. Now that's cap, but you know, you got to sensationalize. He says he don't know yet. I will solve the crime problem fast, just like I did in DC. Chicago will be safe again and soon. Look at how this guy moves, man. Devious. Trump wrote on his social media platform on Tuesday, pointing out gun violence in Chicago over the holiday weekend and repeating an earlier suggestion that federal intervention is needed to combat crime. So there you go. There you go. Meanwhile, in Indonesia,
the best value in tools just arrived near you. There's a new Harbor Freight store, packed full of the tools you need at prices you deserve. We're adding new tools and new.
Before you know it, it'll be too late. So they're protesting in Indonesia, burning government buildings to the ground amid civil unrest. We quoted it earlier, but let's let the scripture speak on this, right? Because right after this is another video I'm going to show real quick before time gets too far away from me. 2 Ezra 9:3 says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then thou shalt well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So what are we talking about? The end times, right? The Most High visiting the world that he made. We're seeing the Spirit of the Lord being visited on the earth all over the place, from volcano eruptions, the hurricanes, the earthquakes, the civil unrest and riots all over the world, warfare on the streets, famine, pestilence. I mean, you name it, it's all here. It's all here. An average nigga on the block, he has no idea what's going on in Indonesia. He don't know that this is part of prophecy.
The best value in tools just arrived near you. There's a new Harbor Freight store.
Now this is government building. This ain't, you know, them riding with each other. This is acts of sedition against their own government. You know, 2 Ezra 15 says that there's going to be sedition among men. That they're not going to honor their nobles and the people. Right? I seen another video, man. The people, they was in the streets like roaches all over the place. And one of the cops had ran a guy over in the streets, and they was really tripping after that. They ran up on the car. Let me see if I can find that one real quick. No, that wasn't it. Yeah, this is it right here. Tensions roar in Indonesia as protests over police brutality and lawmakers' allowances continue. Look at them. They were talking about a delivery just sitting right here. Protests erupted for a fifth day Friday in multiple cities, and tensions soared across Indonesia a day after a delivery rider was allegedly run over by a police armored vehicle. Yeah, they've been wilding out over there. But you can see that, right? I don't know if y'all seen this one. This dude is evil as hell, man. How many of y'all remember playing Ding Dong Ditch? Growing up in the hood, man, you know, we trying to figure out how to entertain ourselves. Wasn't a lot of funding for with particular programs and all kind of stuff in various neighborhoods. You know, we had to figure it out, man. So we'll come up with all different kind of games to play. Y'all know some of the ones wasn't too kosher, hide and go get it and all that other stuff. You know, football in the streets, everything. Ding dong bitch, right? Look, check this out. They still doing it. Nothing new under the sun.
How are we able to offer the Percy dining set for just $2.95 at Living Spaces? We design furniture with affordable, durable, stylish.
Welcome back in Alive Now. I'm Austin Westfall. A live look at Houston on this Tuesday evening, 9:15 in H-Town. Our next story takes us there, and that's where an 11-year-old boy was fatally shot over the weekend after a so-called ding-dong ditch prank. Police now saying that a suspect has been charged with murder, and we're also learning the identity of that suspect and the victim. With more on that story, we bring in Fox 26 Houston's Abigail Dye, who has some exclusive details tonight. Abigail, what more can you tell us?
Well, Austin, the 11-year-old victim in this, his name is Julian Guzman, and investigators say that he and his 11-year-old cousin, they were playing ding dong ditch. They were going around the neighborhood, ringing doorbells, knocking on doors, and then running away. One house they hit several times, and investigators say when they came back that final time, Gonzalo Leon Jr. was waiting next to his home outside in the dark, gun in hand. Investigators say that he opened fire and he hit the victim in the back as that boy was running away. That boy died the next day at the hospital, and now the Harris County District Attorney has charged the suspect in the case, saying that they intend to upgrade this charge to a capital murder charge because...
Well, the fact that he got caught, right, is one thing, but you know, the scriptures say, man, because iniquity hath abound, the love of many have waxed cold. So when we're seeing more heinous crimes and unjustifiable crimes like this go on, man, just get used to it, because it's going to get even worse. I mean, you think it was bad, man, when you're seeing, you know, cases of women cutting up their husbands and eating them and cannibalizing. That's nothing, man. It's going to get even worse. I mean, there was no reason why this cat shot the little dude, man, 11-year-old. Ambushed him, waiting outside. You know, they hit his house a few times. So he's like, what? What? No, Shalak, you got to send me that. 14-year-old, they try to throw in a wood chipper at a barn party. I mean, yeah, this is getting out of control. Out of control. They said, man, the little dudes, man, had you know, hit the guy's house multiple times. So what's he do? He decides to go wait in the dark in the bushes, man, and ambush them, thinking, you know, when they come back again, I'm gonna light them up. Unbelievable. Now, Bayan, you said you heard about it. Let me see about this. We going live right now. 14-year-old. Racially charged attack on the 14-year-old boy at a barn door. Interesting. Yeah, I see like YouTube and TikTok videos. Do they provide like, you know, some articles? That's pretty long. I'm not gonna go into this, but I'll look further into that, man. Interesting. All bad. All right, let's continue on before I get up out of here. So some of y'all heard about this. Let me just get the reading. When there shall be earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, know that it's the time that the Lord is going to visit the earth which he made, right? Afghanistan earthquake rocks Jalalabad, killing at least 800. 800. in one fell swoop. Earthquake earlier this week. And we know we've been hearing and seeing earthquakes rocking and rolling for the last 6 months all over the place. All over the place. Ishmael is the latest to get. All right. Now look at this. Gold price hits record highs. Investors seek safety. Because it's still the Shabbat for us here. I'm not going to talk too much about the money. But guess what? When you see this, if you're holding it, you'll be rubbing your hands Birdman style, like, oh yeah, I made a good investment. You probably did. We've been talking about that for a long time now. I'll die to myself saying the metals is a valuable investment. When everything else collapses, I mean, these two you can still trace back to biblical times. If that particular currency has outlasted everything else, why wouldn't it continue? Record price, $3,500 an ounce for gold right now. But that's not always good, because guess what that means? Oh, Black Americans are losing jobs and a warning for the economy. When the metals is going up, that means the dollar's going down, employment's going down, stock market's going down. That means eventually something's going to crash and break. So you got to watch multiple things, because who's getting highlighted, who's getting attacked, who's getting most hurt by the unemployment and the things going on. And I know every week I'm talking about economy, or at least I'm talking about jobs, inflation, and everything else, food prices, because that's what affects us every day, all of us. You can relate to that a little bit more sooner than you can try to relate to geopolitics and trying to figure out what's going on amongst different countries and prophecy and this, that, and the third. You can understand what happens when your paycheck ain't adding up to support you and your household. And now we're seeing that Black Americans, so-called Black Americans, are losing jobs at its highest rate since 2021. Look at this. Unemployment among Black people reaches its highest level since 2021. I am in a fight of my life. One of the people that was quoted within this article was talking about unemployment in the U.S. remains historically low at 4.2%. They love saying that. But guess who's getting hit, though? Black workers are living in a different reality. Yeah, unemployment for Black Americans has surged to 7.2%. We're always marginalized against the populace. Blacks is always going to get hit the worst with everything. To Oscar Rob's point earlier, 4.2% on a national scale, but guess who's getting hit at a greater level than that? Oh, so-called Blacks. Highest level since October 2021, when the job market was still recovering from the pandemic. Yeah, so when Black folks was running around out here, man, with their little stimulus checks and PPP loans and EDD hustle and scams and all that money's gone. That money is been gone. And if they ain't locked up because of they was out there hustling and got caught scamming, they back out here doing whatever they can to try to survive. They done flip something on the internet, trying to hustle something off the internet now. If that ain't the case, they went back to 9 to 5, that rent moratorium where you didn't have to pay your rent for a year, 2 years. You got evicted now. They doubled down and saying your rent increased. They do it on the back end of your leasing terms. The gig is up. And now Jake trying to get out there and find them jobs, and there ain't no jobs. Remember, I was all fun and games some years ago when everybody was running around. Everybody had money. Good old days. The internet was flooded with Negroes out there showing off their money, vacationing, doing all kinds of jet skiing and eating out at all the finest restaurants, renting cars and going to Miami. That's all over with. Now niggas is out here, I'm fighting for my life. I'm struggling. We need a new president. The president ain't been in the office but 8 months. You already begging for a change? That's over with. Tried to tell our people a long time ago. They didn't want to hear it. Okay. The drop in unemployment is a warning sign for the labor market and threatens to unravel employment gains made by Black workers during and after the pandemic. So we know who's getting targeted when it comes down to this economy. Like I said, hey, the metals might be going up, but guess what? That's down because our people don't know nothing about that. Guarantee you, all the people that was getting all that PPP and EDD money and everything else, they wouldn't think about investing that in nothing. Maybe they got hip to watching some YouTube videos about crypto and, got some money into that. And they still, surviving off of that. But guess what? You get that money. Esau's coming down the pipeline saying, hey, taxes, money, I'm investigating where you get the money from. Eventually it catch up to you. So let's continue on real quick. U.S. hiring stalls with employers reluctant to expand in an economy grown increasingly erratic. Do you see that? U.S. hiring stalls. They not. It's unfortunate, man. If you got laid off, you're losing your job. Yeah, that's what I keep telling everybody. You got a job, hold on to it, man. You're going to have to be a good old slave. You're going to have to shuck and jive to keep what you got going on because there's not much out there right now. They just said that the job market only opened up 54,000 jobs in August. They needed 150, no, 100 and I think they need 150,000, 160 something thousand just to maintain the economy at its levels where it's already $37 trillion in debt. You want to keep that going, they need to have 150 something thousand jobs, and they came out with 54,000, well below. And of those 54,000, man, they're low wage jobs, hotels, restaurants, stuff that you can't survive in this economy right now with. And if that ain't the case, they fake jobs. That jobs are just posting for the sake of statistics. Or some of these companies are only hiring within. They're not hiring outside. So they're only offering, like my job, they only hire within. They ain't hiring at all, to be honest with you. It's a complete freeze. But when they would rather hire within and let people transfer to different departments, whatever, than they would advertising outside. And that's how a lot of these jobs working. But they'll report it as, oh, we got new job openings. They ain't no jobs, man. You can send 100 damn emails, application, you're getting ghosted. Things is coming to a drastic halt right now, and people's gonna get desperate. That's a whole nother thing we gotta look for and wait for. Look at that, he's even desperate. The Trump is asking support for $15 to get him to heaven. I mean, I'm not even gonna go into this. But this dude's out here panhandling for $15 talking about he wants to get to heaven. So now it's $15. Is that all you need to get to heaven, man? This dude is wicked as hell. Wicked as hell. President Trump sent out an email blast to his supporters begging them for donations for a cause which to many seems implausible. I want to try to get to heaven, the commander-in-chief wrote. Last year, I came millimeters from death when that bullet pierced through my skin. My triumphant return to the White House was never supposed to happen, but I believe that God saved me for one reason, to make America great again. No. All right. UZL, you should already know where he's being saved for. This is his heaven right here. Obadiah, verse 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord has spoken it. Not IQ, I didn't say it. No, the Yahweh, he's spoken it. None's going to be remaining. That $15, man, you're not going anywhere. Panhandling to my mother, because I survived the assassination attempt and the election is rigged and they impeached me and slapped criminal charges on me, and I need $15, y'all, to keep going. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I thought that was a joke. They talking about maybe considering banning the Transformers from buying guns. Good luck with that. The fact that they even put it out there, that's to satisfy their constituents and, you know, everybody else. But the NRA and all them already came out like, hell no, you tripping. You're tripping. You can't ban the trannies from getting guns. That's not going on. But it looked good on paper. Hey, look, we're looking into this because we're seeing that the transmissions is out here doing drive-bys and shooting up schools and shooting up areas and killing people and wilding out. Maybe we need to restrict them. They know that ain't gonna fly. But, you know, it's just to put it out there. Hey, we tried. It's the Democrats. They doing this politics. So that's out. Officials close even more beaches as deadly bacteria contaminates the shores across the U.S. We're talking about more viral issues going on with bacteria and things like that, contaminations of waters, beaches are getting closed down. I mean, America's over with, man. This ain't the happy-go-lucky, friendly place, land of milk and honey everybody wants to come to and hang out and have fun with, vacation. The Most High is touching every little aspect of fun and enjoyment that this place used to have and offer to people. Deadly bacteria in the waters now. They close it down. A lot of beaches on the East Coast. It's all bad. All right. Before we close, man, let's look at this damn wicked ass demon. David Taylor, if y'all remember him, it's the same cat last week we talked about, ran the $50 million scheme, trafficking people in call centers and having women being brought to him, ensuring that they had contraceptives with them, had that big old castle, and now he's locked up. But let's look at one of his church services, man. Maybe he is a man of the Lord. Maybe he's really doing some good works, man.
What happened? Yes, sir. This is Rosetta. She came in tonight with pain all over her body. She even had surgery on her vocal cords because there was some blockage, but that pain is leaving her body, and she believes tonight God has healed her vocal cords, and she's believing that she can sing tonight.
Uh-oh. Most High healed her vocal cords, and she wants to serenade, David Taylor. Maybe this is real, y'all. Maybe I don't want to condemn him, man. Hold on, let me let him go.
What happened to you? Well, I've got a very long story. Touch.
Did y'all just see that? As soon as she said, I got a very long story to tell you, he blows on her to shut her up. and she starts to laugh immediately. This is how you know this is all theater, man. And our people love to be taken advantage of. We love to sit back and support the lies. We love to sit back and support the folly. You know, in that scripture, let me get that real quick in Isaiah 30 before we close out. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna finish the video. But we love to be hustled and scammed, man. Isaiah 39. That this is the rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of Yahweh, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things. Our people, they don't want to hear what's right. You don't want to be corrected and reproved. You don't want to be set on the path of righteousness. You don't want to hear the right things. Our people say to the seers and the men of the Lord who have studied and labored and fasted and prayed to be delivered and give our people the knowledge of salvation and to get them on the path of repentance. They said, no, we don't want to see that. Get out of here. We see you niggas on the corner. Y'all are crazy. What do they want to hear? Speak unto us smooth things. Prophesy deceits. You want to hear everything's going to be all right. You want prosperity doctrine. You want Joel Osteen. You want Creflo Dollar. You want, TD Fakes. He retired. You want David Taylor. You want, what's the cat's name, man? You want to keep getting hustled by, Umar Johnson, Infantunde. Yeah, y'all still think some schools coming up out of there? He's selling $500 dates now after he done got his accounts froze and broke. He been exposed. Now he talking about, man, $500 dates, women and men. I'll take your woman too. And our people don't give it that. They'll still send him more money We're constantly looking how to get rich schemes, man. How many damn charlatans and hustlers is on the internet saying, send me your money, buy my new course. I'll teach you how to trade and get stocks and get your crypto money up. And I'm going to get more money. We love to be hustled and lied to, man. We want to hear the seats. So when we see a David Taylor says, I know these people. They want to be entertained. They want to hear lies. Let me blow my hot, stinking breath on this woman, man, and let her pass out.
What happened? Yes, sir. This is Rosetta. She came in tonight with pain all over her body. She even had surgery on her vocal cords because there was some blockage, but that pain is leaving her body, and she believes tonight God has healed her vocal cords, and she's believing that she can sing tonight.
What happened to you? Well, I've got a very long story.
Blowing that damn stinking breath on her, man, and he got the mushroom Jerry curl jumping off. I mean, what is really going on? Blows on it, right? Look at it. And everybody's laughing. This is a big old joke, man. And they are packed in that damn church. And he got $50 million out of these people wanting to watch stupid stuff like this, man. And there's plenty of them. You see Benny Hinn used to run around throwing his coat and whole crowds of people falling out on the ground, man. All this foolishness, man. Making a mockery of the healing and the power of the Lord.
Don't put it on me. That means you're rejoicing because you're ready to go. What happened?
I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing. See, but see, our people love to have it so.
What happened?
Yes, sir. This is
Our people love to have it so. And he go laugh and say, don't put it on me. Y'all are the ones ready to go. As if, you know, trying to hold them in conviction and saying, hey, you know, we've heard enough. We're ready to get up out of here. Yeah. That little mushroom Jerry curl wig that he got on, man, and that damn fake army suit was wild. Wow. But nonetheless, y'all, hey man, all praise, honor, glory to the Most High, White House, man. The water for y'all tuning in. Also, if you guys didn't get a chance to check out that lesson earlier, you know, like I said, man, the Christians are walking around their chest out and they a little pumped up, man. I had to address the Acts 26 lesson. I re-loaded it again for you brothers, other teachers and learners. Make sure you go back over there, get your precepts together, because that's one of they, you know, aces in the hole that they like to go to as well. Bringing more understanding regarding that chapter, Acts 26, and Paul and Agrippa. But other than that, man, bless about to everybody. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, man. Always remember, fear the Most High, keep the commandments, don't shoot the messenger. See y'all in the future. Shalom.